You ever scroll through Instagram and think, wow, everyone else's life looks way better than mine? They're traveling, glowing, achieving. Meanwhile, you're in bed with Cheeto dust on your fingers, binge watching Netflix and wondering where it all went wrong. Yeah, welcome to being human. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most universal and frustrating habits: why we can't stop comparing ourselves to others, and more importantly, what we can actually do about it. By the end of this video, you'll understand not only why your brain loves to compare, but also how to retrain it so that those comparisons stop controlling your happiness. Believe it or not, comparison isn't a modern problem. It's actually ancient. Back in the caveman days, comparing yourself to others could literally keep you alive. If you saw your neighbor hunting better or building stronger shelters, your brain thought, hey, I should do that too, or I might not survive. Comparison was like a built in self improvement system. It pushed humans to learn, adapt, and compete. Early humans racing to make fire, someone side eyeing their neighbor's bigger cave. Comedic reenactment: Grog has two mammoths. I have zero mammoths. I am failure. See, comparison was useful back then. But here's the twist: our brains never evolved out of that mindset. Psychologists call this the social comparison theory, first proposed by Leon Festinger in the 1950s. He discovered that we determine our own worth based on how we stack up against others. There are two main types: upward comparison, when you compare yourself to someone you think is better; downward comparison, when you compare yourself to someone worse off. Simple animated graph showing upward versus downward arrows. Upward comparisons can motivate you, like seeing a friend crush their goals and thinking, okay, time to step up. But too much of it? That's where the trouble begins. You start to feel inadequate. You start chasing their life instead of your own. And social media? It's like gasoline on that fire. Every scroll is a highlight reel of someone's best moments, filtered through perfection. No one's posting their breakdown at 2 a.m. over burnt pasta. So while Grog compared mammoths, we're comparing careers, abs, relationships, and vacation photos. Same brain software, very different world. So what's going on in our brains when we compare? When you see someone doing better, your brain's reward system, specifically the ventral striatum, lights up. It releases dopamine, the same chemical that fires when you get likes, win a game, or eat chocolate. In other words, comparison gives your brain a hit. You start craving it, like a tiny emotional slot machine. Brain animation lighting up, dopamine molecule icons floating around. That's why you can't stop checking who's doing what. Your brain is literally addicted to measuring yourself against others. But here's the kicker: that same system also releases cortisol, the stress hormone, when you feel like you're losing the comparison game. So you get both the high and the crash. It's like emotional junk food: tastes good for a second, but makes you feel awful after. All this comparing comes with a price tag. Studies show that people who frequently compare themselves to others experience lower self esteem, more anxiety, and even depression. You start measuring your worth not by who you are, but by how you rank. That's like judging a fish by how well it can climb a tree. Cartoon fish looking up at monkeys on a tree. When you're constantly focused outward, you forget to look inward, to your own growth, progress, and joy. And here's the paradox: the people you're comparing yourself to, they're doing the exact same thing. Everyone's looking sideways, not realizing everyone else is too. Different people scrolling through phones, each comparing themselves to the next person. Okay, so we know why we compare, but how do we stop, or at least control it? Here are 5 practical strategies that actually work. 1. Awareness is step 1. Catch yourself comparing. Literally say, I'm comparing right now. Naming it takes away its power. 2. Curate your environment. Unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel small. Fill you with people who inspire without triggering insecurity. 3. Compare inward, not outward. Measure today's version of you against yesterday's. Are you growing, learning, improving, even just a little? That's progress. 4. Practice gratitude. Sounds cliche, but it works. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for daily rewires your brain to focus on abundance, not lack. 5. Celebrate others genuinely. When you feel envy, turn it into admiration. You can be inspired without being threatened. Because here's the truth: someone else's success doesn't take away from yours. It just proves what's possible. At the end of the day, comparison is a part of being human, but it doesn't have to define your happiness. You can choose to let comparison crush you or to use it as fuel for your own journey. So next time you catch yourself scrolling and thinking they're ahead, remember, you're not running their race. You're running yours. And hey, maybe it's time we all compared less and created more. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment telling me one area of your life where you're choosing to stop comparing. And if you want more psychology backed insights like this, hit that subscribe button. I've got a ton more coming your way. Until next time, take care of yourself and stop comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel.